Alasdair.
Sam.
We are at the halfway mark.
The halfway mark. Oh my God, mid-season already.
Mid-season. That feels way too quick to be mid-season.
Way too quick. I guess we've got a double bill, then a bit of boom, then a bit of 73 yards, and here we are.
73 yards later, halfway through the season. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to see all of this come together in a big, I want to see this as a body of work and reflect on season 1 of Doctor Who together. I'm still very excited for what's to come, particularly excited for The Legend of Ruby Sunday and The Empire of Death, and the context where we will be watching The Empire of Death in the cinema is going to be very exciting.
Oh my God, I forgot we booked that.
Yes.
That's going to be amazing. IMAX, baby.
We're getting like all of our Doctor Who dreams come true lately. I mean, say what you will about, it doesn't really matter to me what the stories are at the minute because the surrounding stuff is so much fun. They can have all my money. But I mean, we finally booked the proms that we've been wanting to go to since, when was the first prom? 2008?
I think it was 2007 or 2008, but 2006 they did the Children in Need. It was at the Millennium Centre, but it was basically the proms, So like that was the first kind of thing. But it felt like the proms.
So we've been wanting to go for a long time. Mum and Dad did not get on top of booking those tickets, let me tell you that now.
They did not.
But now we're big grown-up boys with our own bank accounts. So we've got the proms coming up, and then we've got, the cinema. So they announced the cinema, that we can watch the Empire of Death, the final episode in the cinema, and they're also going to play episode 7 again with it. So we're going to rewatch the first of the 2 finale episodes again.
Yeah, I'm really glad they're doing that because especially I think it's two-parter, so being able to like refresh yourself on that one before you go into the next one I think is a very good decision.
Do we know how long those episodes are? Are they longer than 45 minutes?
They'll be like 45 minutes. They'll be like 45 minutes.
That would also be a bit underwhelming, wouldn't it? If we went to the IMAX. We've also booked the IMAX, which is especially exciting. I don't think I've ever been to the IMAX, not the big main one.
I've not been to like the big one in London. I've been to IMAX cinemas before, but like this is the big one in London.
We're in the big circular Waterloo one.
And you've always said on the pod you always wanted to watch Doctor Who the 50th anniversary in IMAX.
Yes.
You didn't.
This is the thing. It's another dream come true for me. I always wanted to see Doctor Who with a live audience, which I have now had, which has been good to see it with friends and see screenings.
But it'll be a first viewing with a new audience.
This is it. An official big screen cinema experience is going to be pretty bananas. And also I think at that time of night, given it's 11 p.m, we're all going to be like a little bit delirious. I think should be quite nice.
I think so too, yeah.
Speaking of delirium, I have come out of, because of the lateness that every episode is dropping on iPlayer, my opinions on every episode are so dramatically different. From the point I'm voice noting you at 1 a.m. going, Sam, I don't know, mate. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, masterpiece, 7 out of 10.
You really are. You're much more, I think, polarized on your views than I tend to be. I think I kind of I definitely have my opinions shift day by day because like you said, I just come away from finishing the episode and I'm like, I hate this being on in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I think that's
my first takeaway, yeah.
At that time in the night, I'm a little cranky. I'm like, okay.
Ready for bed.
I need to sit on this. I need to see what I think. And then we get a bit of time to digest it. And we've really done that this time. I think never have I sat with an episode before review as much as I've done this one. This one's really been on my mind a lot before we come to the review. Is that true for you?
Yeah, 100% true. I remember being out with my boyfriend for the whole day on Saturday and just messaging you a lot of the day, but also looking up theories and seeing Twitter and seeing what people were thinking and trying to explain to him why I thought it was cool about what other people were thinking. And it's definitely, this is why we'll get into it, but the episode has sort of faced a lot of criticism for being very open-ended and not answering a lot of questions. But I think more so than anything that's come out of this era, it's been a conversation starter. It's had people talking and it's had people thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not getting bored at all of finding like new readings of the episode. So there's so many different ways. And we've put together some of our favorite theories and interpretations of the themes and the what really happened in the story as well. And we'll come to that.
But before that, if you haven't realised, we are talking about 73 Yards. It's episode 4 of season 1 of Doctor Who. It aired on the 25th of May, 2024, a mere 2 days ago as of time of recording. And it currentently sits on a very healthy 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
The 8.4 is pretty good, and I've been getting a bit of a layman's barometer as well on kind of what does a casual viewer think of this episode, which I do via my boyfriend, who has at this point been exposed to quite a lot of Doctor Who, but I do ask for his kind of honest opinions because he doesn't have a whole back catalogue of old Doctor Who episodes in his brain and all that kind of old
Right.
context to lean back on. So he sees it quite fresh for what it is.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed it. And apparently his parents really enjoyed this one as well. And I was like, that's quite nice. You know, I'm always interested in when someone's parents enjoy something. But apparently they thought this one was very strong as well. Like Boomer was very strong. So yeah.
Good. I'm glad. No, I find so too. Through the people that I've spoken to who aren't like as knee deep in Doctor Who world that we are, I think that's really good. It's a very, I don't know if this is the right word, it's a very like palatable episode for a casual viewer. I think you don't really need to know stuff going into it and stuff going out of it because everything's kind of explained to you that you need to know anyway within the episode. And then obviously there is stuff that is left unanswered, but you can still come away from the episode having really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I think it's a very unique episode. It's got familiar elements of it being the Dr. Light story. There's a whole kind of political sequence to it, which is a bit like a very condensed version of Years and Years. I don't know if you ever watched Years and Years, but
no.
the political themes are met. If they just really squeeze those themes tight, that kind of comes up in it. Then we have kind of the folklore, horror, ghost story elements to it, but that in itself is a bit of a misdirect. So there's a kind of a mishmash of themes, but it doesn't feel, I think, too jarring. It doesn't feel like it swings too violently from one to the other. There's like a very consistent story thread all the way through it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realise until a couple of days before it aired that this was the same episode that had all of the, the Welsh small village, as well as Kate Stewart, as well as the Prime Minister of War. And I was like, how are they going to get all of this to like coherently fit in an episode? And much as I think, and we'll talk about it, there are some rush moments, it did cohesively fit. Like it all felt very much a part of the same story.
It worked really well together, I think, and it's a testament to the story that it does work. It's weird that it works. On paper, it probably shouldn't work. Well, the summary I got, which made me laugh, this was from a Redditor. They said, in this episode, Doctor Who's companion commits a political assassination with the help of an ancient anti-fascist fake curse, which is certainly a new sentence.
Yeah, I don't think any of those words were in the Bible. Well, look, for anyone who wants to see exactly how it sounds on paper and might want a refresher of the episode, we always say, go on iPlayer, go on Disney Plus, give it a watch. However, if you do want a little refresher and you want to hear what we thought the story was, here's a quick recap of the story.
The adventure opens with the TARDIS materialising on the coast of Wales. Ruby recalls visiting Wales twice, while the Doctor describes the endless war between the land and the sea, and a future Welsh Prime Minister, Roger ap Gwilym, who leads the world to the brink of an all-out nuclear war.
The Doctor steps on a bit of string and realises that he's broken a mysterious fairy circle. After Ruby reads the scroll left in the circle, the Doctor vanishes. Ruby finds that she's unable to access the TARDIS and notices a strange woman off in the distance.
As Ruby looks for the Doctor, she realises the mysterious woman is always the same distance away from her. A hiker, played by Susan Twist, turns up, and Ruby briefly thinks she might recognise her. Ruby asks her to tell the woman to stop following her, but after doing so, the hiker runs away screaming.
Ruby reaches the pub where we meet an assortment of locals who are shocked that she broke the circle and give a frightening warning about the magic that she's unleashed, saying that Mad Jack is now unbound. This is revealed to be a prank, and the pub breaks up into laughter. Ruby stays at the pub for a couple of days and is quickly forced out, however, when one of the locals approaches the woman in the distance and refuses to return home.
Ruby comes back to London to Carla and Cherry. Carla, her mum, offers to help, approaching the woman while on the phone to Ruby so that they can hear her together. Mrs. Flood, the next-door neighbour, witnesses the scene and says it's got nothing to do with her. Carla gets close to the woman and suddenly runs away, abandoning Ruby and even changing the locks on their flat.
Ruby makes contact with Kate Lethbridge Stewart, who offers to help her, but is also unable to save her when Unit falls under the woman's influence. Kate hears her say something over the earpiece and shuts down the whole operation. We
see the years quickly pass as Ruby turns 25, then 30, then 40. In 2046, Ruby sees Roger ap Gwilym on television and remembers the Doctor's warning about a dangerous Prime Minister in the future. Ruby realises her purpose is to save the world from him and becomes a volunteer on his team. In interviews, Roger talks about going independent from NATO and alludes to a desire for a nuclear war.
Ruby is certain that Roger is the same Mad Jack that she was warned about and takes her one opportunity to end his career. She gets exactly 73 yards away from him in a football stadium, summoning the woman to his side and sending him running away screaming. He resigns from office, averting the most destructive Prime Minister in history. Time doesn't reset itself, however, and Ruby wonders what to do as she spends the next 40 years being followed by the woman.
Many years later, now elderly, Ruby revisits the TARDIS again. It's now a memorial site surrounded by flowers, though nobody's quite sure why they keep leaving them. The Doctor is still nowhere to be seen.
Sometime later, Ruby's dying in a futuristic hospital, lamenting the fact that she's alone and yet still followed. That night, Ruby feels a presence in the room, and we see the woman much closer than 73 yards in the darkness. As Ruby's heart monitor accelerates as she begins to die, the woman turns to face her as Ruby reaches out to embrace her.
Under a tree on the cliff tops, we now see the opening scene again from the mysterious woman's perspective, and we learn that Ruby was the ghostly figure all along, at least in spirit. The story comes full circle as the woman communicates with her younger self to stop the Doctor from breaking the circle, whispering, "Don't step." The Doctor avoids stepping on the circle, the woman vanishes, and the episode's timeline is changed. Some memory of the timeline does seem to remain, as Ruby can now remember visiting Wales 3 times.
Well, there you go, my lover.
Oh, there you go. That was quite a lot to take in, wasn't it, Andy, for Bubba?
That was quite a lot. There's a lot of story to condense this. Well done.
It's quite a lot.
Well, look, before we jump into our thoughts, we reached out to you on our X account to let us know what you thought, and here's what some of you had to say.
Yes.
Bunny Galore said, "Loved it. Spooky and thought-provoking, and it evolved into a bigger piece than I was expecting. Love the pub scenes and the ones with Ruby's mother and Kate. I could have done with one big villain speech